Hello, everyone, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Monday, August 7th, 2017. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember, everyone, that you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, we do go live on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That's 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Nathan, how are you doing today?
Today's shitty.
I wouldn't say it was shitty, but it was definitely rough. It was a rough day.
A shitty Monday.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough Monday. I'll attest to that.
Hate it. It's garbage. I just want to go to sleep.
Why was yours shitty and garbage and you just want to go to sleep?
We've had a line out the door from opening to closing. It was close to the fucking elevator.
Why? What? Just
people.
Just because?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing unique prompted it, spawned it, etc.
The fucking person behind me who was working, Bree, she had 64 20s today that people have just turned in because they've been been posting bail or other stupid shit. Normally, we'll end the day with like maybe a max of like 7 or 10 20s.
You mean dollar bills?
Yes.
Okay. So it's
64.
Just immensely busy then.
Yeah, and I hate it, and it's garbage, and I just want to go to sleep.
Did it make the day go by quickly at least?
No.
No? Oh.
No, because each person had their own stupid, unique problem, and I had to go and try and fucking solve all of it.
Wow. Did you have a good weekend at least?
Yeah, it was not bad.
It's not bad?
Yeah.
Not bad as in like, it could have been better? It was like, it could have been worse.
It started off really strong, and then it just kind of meh. Throughout the rest of it.
Was Game of Thrones bad?
No, Game of Thrones was probably the best episode of the season so far.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've seen people sharing memes about it that I don't understand.
The fucking brand memes are killing me. They're so goddamn good.
I keep on seeing Jon Snow and Daenerys memes that I don't understand.
Dude, dude, Bran Stark memes are the best. He's the one where it's like, something X happened that day, you were beautiful that day. Because in the show, he became super broken and like his brain's all not fucking working, and so he says really awkward shit because he can see literally all of everything.
Oh, okay. He's like omniscient now?
Kind of. So he became the three-eyed raven. There's the things called weirwoods, which are white trees with faces, and they log literally everything. And if you can green see into them, if you can connect into that tree, then you can see everything that's happened past and present, and I think future. I'm not 100% sure. But he became the three-eyed raven, and now he can see, like, everything.
Huh.
There's, like, no hiding from him.
Interesting.
He essentially died, and they shoved a god in his body.
So is he, like, real powerful? Like, beyond just knowledge and omniscience?
No, so far it's just knowledge and omniscience, but, like, there's been things that have suggested that he can go back in time and theoretically change things or act to cause things to happen.
Huh. Very
in
well,
season 6, he saw his father going back in time, and he shouted out father, and Ned heard him and turned around and looked, which is weird because it's not supposed to happen or some shit.
Huh. Okay. Anywho, I'll pretend like I understand. Let's go into some news, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
In the moment that there it is. Ha-ha!
10.
Russian bots are starting to attack the Republican Party.
This is submitted by Goya Bean to Our Politics. I told everyone about robots. No one's fucking listening.
It's not literal, like, robots. They're not, like, marching on, the friggin' Republican, the GOP or anything like that. No, this is automated bots on Twitter that are sending out to they're all activating together and sending out tweets with hashtags, which force a hashtag to be trending to gain notoriety, I guess. Not quite notoriety, gain a presence. Some of the hashtags that the most recent one that they were all tweeting out at once was hashtag resign Paul Ryan. Who is the current Speaker of the House, who is a member of the Republican Party.
I'm sorry. That's pretty fucking hilarious.
Although it makes this article doesn't say how they know that they're specifically Russian bots and trolls that have caused this surge of hashtags.
Maybe they popped up with Russian Cyrillic letters,
Well, I mean, some of them, in fact, like this article talks about when Donald Trump, President of the United States, thanked a Twitter user called at Pro Trump 45 for a supportive message, and then it was found out that Pro Trump 45 was just a bot.
Mm-hmm.
He
No,
thanked.
I can believe that. Fucking, there are so many bots online.
Well,
They're
especially
just
like
sitting there trying to pump just garbage.
Well, Twitter and Instagram especially have a huge problem with fake accounts because they're not as easy to discern. And also because of the way that both of those platforms operate, you're not as privy to it because I guess you don't care as much. Like, I mean, I probably get maybe a friend request on Facebook from a fake person maybe once every 2 days, once every 3 days. But one, they're normally pretty obvious that they're fake, and two, I mean, I would like to say that what's the word I'm looking for? Vet my friends list at the same time.
I guess that's the proper term for it.
I don't know. But when it comes to like Twitter or Instagram, like unless you have privacy settings, everyone's just like follow. And like some of them are real obvious. It's like get Twitter followers 107349 and you're like, "Oh, thanks. I'm not going to give you money for fake followers, but all right."
Or you'll go to the page and it's like, hey, you want to see me naked?
Yeah, those ones are real common too. Go to really uncredible friggin' website to buy my Snapchat photos.
Mm-hmm. Why would you ever want to buy Snapchat photos?
Oh, then there's the interesting ones that are actual people that do sell their body online, but it's like Patreon photos, and I'm just like, of course that's a market. Why are you following me? I'm not following you back. I'm not giving you money.
Maybe we can stage a thing where they can give us money.
Yeah, right. Tell you what, I will utter your name once if you will give me money. Although a good number of them are cosplayers, which makes me sad because they're like really good cosplayers that then just turn their cosplays into like slut Polaroids for money. And I'm like, I guess if you're okay with it.
I know a lot of those you're talking about.
Yeah, because they're everywhere, and almost anytime you're like see a really good cosplay, you're like, it's like, yeah, links to my page, and then it links to their page, and then you're like, oh no, and then they're like, do you want Polaroids of this costume half off? Sign up to my Patreon, and you're like, oh, really? Okay, well, I guess
We should put a links on our page.
a links like a cat,
Yeah.
just cuz
Yeah.
because the internet likes
Guys, check out the
cats.
links on our page.
That's that. Yeah, okay.
It's a pun.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Okay.
9.
Chris Pratt and Anna Faris announced separation after 8 years of marriage.
This was submitted by I Enjoy Taffy to our television.
Is this where we scream, love is dead?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they are keeping it or asking to keep it as private as possible, but they have announced their legal separation as they are deeming it, which, is there a difference between legal separation and divorce?
Yes.
There is?
Because they are still technically married in a legal separation.
Interesting. Okay.
They still have married benefits and whatnot.
Interesting. Okay. Can you do like a legal joinment but not get married?
That is called a domestic partnership.
Interesting. Okay.
And there are some places around the world which I feel is bullshit. Oops, sorry. I feel is bullshit, and I feel like more people should press it. But there are very few places around the world where you can get a heterosexual domestic partnership.
Really?
Yeah, because it's for the most part people are just like, hey, you can't do that. You just go get married.
But so you can have in those places though, could you have a heterosexual marriage and then get a legal separation, or would they just force
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
So, but you can't just get a domestic partnership.
No. There's very few places, which is stupid in my opinion, because some people just don't like the idea of marriage but want to be with that person and get benefits and everything.
Yeah.
They want to have the same thing as the marriage but don't want to go through the religious or, sanctimonious thing of marriage.
Well, especially because of like the tax breaks and stuff that it puts forward. Anywho, that tangent aside, Chris Pratt and Anna Faris are going to be legally separating. They did not expressly say differences, but there's a lot of rumors and inferences that are being passed around. One of the two large ones is that it is believed that Anna Faris has a drinking problem. She has her own podcast and appears on a lot of other podcasts and is almost always completely sloshed when she goes onto those podcasts.
That reminds me, I watched something with Anna Faris in it recently. I fucking watched Keanu, and she was fucking trashed in that. Though I don't know if she was actually trashed or if she was pretending to be trashed.
There is also the rumor being passed around that, like, when her and Chris Pratt first got together, he was, the real sweethearted kind of chubby guy that was trying to, just be funny and get a role, and now he is considered one of the sexiest men alive and is
hot as fuck,
immensely successful.
That dude glowed up.
And people change, like, especially when, like, I mean, as much as I believe that Chris Pratt is a genuine, good-hearted person, there is a lot that one going from the kind of, heavier set, dorkier guy to the complete bombshell that he has switched from, as well as going from struggling to get a role and living in your van to I am one of the most sought-after, well-paid actors in Hollywood. You will still somewhat be a different person in some form or fashion. I mean,
people just change in general. I mean, even if he wasn't famous, he would have changed.
Yeah, especially in 9 years. A lot happens in 9 years. A lot happens in 1 year.
Definitely.
So, either way, though, it is unfortunate because a lot of people saw them as a role model of a couple, but not everything lasts. So they intend to still be parents to their child. Yeah. And people are also now speculating as to what could have been done to prevent this because, for instance, Robert Downey Jr. has a pretty healthy marriage with his wife, and he achieves that by bringing her with him anywhere and everywhere. Every single time that he's going to go somewhere to shoot, he brings his wife with him. And Hugh Jackman, he has an express rule that he will not do anything that will take him away from his family for more than 2 weeks.
I mean, that's understandable. People want to be family men, and it's hard when you're flying everywhere to do shoots.
People are being real sweet about me and Jennifer in the chat room. I appreciate all of your faces. Yeah, Jennifer says, Zach, you win the gold star today. Because Zach said, love is still alive. It's called Michael and Jennifer. I love you, sir. You are a good person. And I love Jennifer immensely. And I'd also just like to just give a real cheesy call out to everyone that's in our chat room right now because you're all great. And I appreciate your faces. And now we're going to talk about a restaurant owner that appreciates something a little bit different about you.
8.
Chinese restaurant offers bra-size discounts.
This was submitted by Helmholtz Free Energy to R Not the Onion.
Yup. So the bigger your breasts, the lower the price. And in the window, they have a poster that features several of the female characters from League of Legends, all of which have very different bust sizes, even in the game. And the larger your breast, the cheaper your food will be.
Which League of Legends characters do they show?
I mean, let's see. It's not the best image. So, and also most people don't probably know who these characters are, but they have them by example of cup. And A is Jinx, B is, I think that's Leona, I think. C is that Diana?
I don't know. I can't see it.
Oh, go to the link, dog.
I'm clicking it.
I mean,
it's loading. My shit is garbage.
Oh, well, that sounds like a personal problem. Kirk in the chat room says he knows a lot of guys that could get that discount. Oh, snap. Here we go. I'll just drop a link to it.
Yeah, you are right. Leona, Diana,
Nidalee, Soraka, Ari, and then Sona, going from A to G cup, and it takes it from I don't know what Chinese currency is, but it goes from 9
yuan.
Oh, okay, it goes from 9.5 won all the way down to 3.5 if you have G cups. So that's like a 60%, 70% discount,
roughly. Damn, I need to get some implants.
Yeah, apparently. Save yourself some. Well, then you go into that whole argument of how much did the implants cost versus how much money are you actually saving. Because, like, that happens a lot up here. People are like, you should just change your own tires for your snow tires. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have, my snow tires aren't on rims. They're like, well, just buy rims. And I'm like, well, that's like $1,000, assuming you get them cheap. And it only costs like $50 to have someone else swap over my tires. Which means it's going to, assuming you do 2 swaps a year, it's going to take 10 years before those rims have paid themselves off. And there's other things I could do with $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I could definitely do a lot with $1,000.
PFD's coming in, what, 2 months?
Something like that.
Something like that? Jennifer asks, yeah, but how much Chinese food do you eat? I don't know. Maybe once a month?
If I could, I would eat ass loads of Chinese food because I love Chinese food.
Chinese food is really delicious. I will agree, concur, and move on from there.
7.
New Zealand Medical Authority urges ban on alcohol from supermarkets.
This was submitted by... God damn it, so many goddamn tabs. This was submitted by 8 Rounds Rapid to Our World News.
Yep, the New Zealand Medical Association has called on a ban of selling alcohol in supermarkets, saying that having it next to groceries and food normalizes what should be considered a dangerous drug. That once they allowed it to be sold in supermarkets in the early 90s, that the amount of consumption of alcohol across the entire country absolutely skyrocketed, which leads to a very large amount of alcohol-related injuries and just straight up, like, hospital attendance. And that they believe that it should not be allowed to be sold in supermarkets because it just makes it too accepted, essentially.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I feel like if alcohol is allowed to be sold in supermarkets, then other legal things like marijuana should be allowed to be sold in supermarkets.
Kirk says that's un-American. I
mean, technically it's in Australia, isn't it?
New Zealand. That is not Australia.
It's close.
Don't do that. That's mean.
It's really close, like proximity-wise.
Sure, geographically wise. I'll give you that. Well, I don't... Wow, really?
What? Continue.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's un-American. I don't think it's a bad idea either. I mean, like, if you... like, especially because, like... Okay, I'm picky as shit when it comes to booze, and most often or not, I can't buy it from a supermarket anyway, because what I want is normally only available at an actual liquor store. So, I mean, I don't think it's a problem, because instead, if you actually want it, you're going to have to go get it, not just grab it while you're shopping normally.
Have more specialized stores, make them like head shops, except specifically just for alcohol. You know, like alcohol stores.
Yeah, we already have those. They're called liquor stores up here. The brown, and it's not like they're you know hard to find. There's a brown jug every couple of blocks.
Yeah, there's a fuckload of brown jugs. There's the wine guy. They're fucking everywhere.
Kirk in the chat room says, I'm just saying I've never worked with a Kiwi that couldn't hold their liquor. Jennifer says Vegas was crazy.
Why are you feeding birds liquor?
Dude, why do you do this?
It's a pun.
Fun.
Jennifer wanted to make a point. Me and her just went on vacation to Vegas, and Vegas was crazy with it. Like it like they have the little shooters sitting next to like the cars chargers and the Snickers, and like we walked through a Walgreens, and just one of the shelves was just lined with little shooters.
Yeah, that sounds about right, dude. But, I mean, that's the city of sin, isn't it?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily change the fact that it shouldn't... Like, it was literally at, like, kid grab level.
Right.
Like...
You gotta learn somehow.
No, that's not how that works, Nathan.
You gotta start them young. That way they can figure out what kind of alcohol they like by the time they're in high school.
Nathan, no. That is bad advice. Nobody listen to Nathan, okay?
Dude, I am the best advice Mallard, all right?
No. Oh, speaking, you made me think of something. So I went to Vegas, right, and I did a bunch of announcing. And as part of, like, the celebration of the group of announcers, the manager of the entire announcing branch, essentially, her name is Val Capone, and she gets everyone together at the Black and Blue Ball to do a shot and, like, to say this real heartfelt, sweet speech because she appreciates all of our faces. And she has everyone do a shot of what's called Malort. And if you don't know what Malort is, one, just type the word Malort, M-A-L-O-R-T, into Google, and you will probably get at least 5 articles about the worst drink in the world, which is called Malort. And it is... Oh,
man, I had this fucking alcohol this last weekend, and it was from fucking Romania, and it tasted like booty.
Well, this is from Chicago, and it is
so it's guaranteed awful.
Ridiculous ridiculously bitter liquor, and it's pretty bad. Like, it's just pretty bad. Just so, if you really want to punish yourself, just get some Malort and have a terrible night.
It's called Palinka is what I drank.
That doesn't sound good either.
It was from Romania, and it came in a bottle that looked like a bong.
What, did Sarman bring this to you?
No, I messaged Sarman, though. I was like, hey, check it out. Guess what I'm drinking? And he's like, that shit fucks you up. And I was like, yeah, no.
6.
China built the world's largest telescope, but has no one to run it.
This was submitted by the Turtle Whisperer to our space.
Yep. This is a radio telescope specifically, so we're not seeing stuff with it so much as hearing stuff with it. It is 500 meters wide, but there are approximately only about 8 people in the world that are qualified to operate it.
8?
8.
All right, guys, I'm going to go through some rigorous training. I got this.
Well, the problem is, the reason that there's only so few that qualify is because of the prerequisites to get the position. Like, they want...
You need, like, some kinds of feats or something?
Well, for the candidate must have 20 years of previous experience in the field. They must have taken a leading role in a large-scale radio telescope project with extensive they managed a lot, and they must currently hold a professorship or equally senior position in a world-class research institute or university, which brings the number of people that are qualified down to somewhere around 8. And the other problem is, though, is that if you were to take the job, you would have to go work in China.
All right. I guess there are worse places to work.
It pays $1.2 million a year.
Is it American dollars or yuan?
I don't know. That's just what it says. The job pays about $1.2 million annually.
I'm guessing it's American dollars because most things that say dollars are in American dollars, except if you read the BBC.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an Ars Technica UK article, which means, it's from the United Kingdom, which doesn't use US dollars. So either they transcribed it or it just straight up just pays in American dollars.
I don't know. I haven't gone to Ars Technica.
Well, they're also trying to specifically advertising to the Western world because they don't have anyone that can run it, and so they're trying to advertise to the people that can.
That's a good idea, though. Like, really start branching out. You should put your you should put that you're looking for help on like Craigslist or something, China.
LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn.
Yeah, there you go, LinkedIn.
Do the search yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or go to Monster. There you go. Because that's helped so many people find jobs. I have not known anyone, by the way, that has successfully found work through Monster. Just to give a little word of caution to people.
Well, I mean,
5.
I guess there
Sorry.
are... Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess there are a few people who have applied for Monster and have gotten the job.
Yeah,
but you probably have to drink a lot of energy drinks for that.
It's a pun. Jeez, okay. 5.
We have a political problem no one wants to talk about. Very old politicians.
This is submitted by Sivri Biber to Our Politics. This is not something that nobody wants to talk about. There are plenty of people who want to talk about it. There are just a lot of people who don't want to talk about it and will fucking hush the shit out of everybody else.
Well, and it's not even necessarily accurate, because I don't necessarily believe the problem is that we have very old politicians. We have very old-minded politicians. Because some of the old politicians are willing to work with and, talk about new ideas. And work with, essentially the upcoming generations and what they believe should be the course moving forward. But the majority of them are locked in the old times and are trying to train their predecessors. Is that the right term? The people that come after them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Predecessors to replace them with those old traditional mindsets.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. There are a lot of people who just don't see that things are moving forward. It's almost as if we need people who aren't politicians in the White House who also aren't reality TV show people. Maybe some like scientists or something.
That was a very beautiful segue into how a lot of scientists are going to be running for office in the next few years.
Oh, I didn't actually know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's an entire organization that is formed for the purpose of trying to get scientists elected into office.
I will definitely fucking be a part of that party. Sign me up.
Kendall in the chat room says, but old people are creepy. They remind you of death. And that's actually one of the things...
Oh, that's not creepy. That's so fucking... Oh, it's such a warm feeling.
Well, actually, that's one of the things that this article wants to make people aware of, is the potential and the probability of dying during your term for these higher-aged politicians. Like, I mean, a lot of people talking about, like, you know, yeah, just have Bernie Sanders run again in 2020. Well, he's going to be, like, what, like 83 in 2020?
Yeah, dude, he's gonna be fucking old. But, you know, I would support the shit out of that man. I will always support the shit out of that man.
Sure, but that is where the concern comes in. I mean, even us, what was it, last year, 2 years ago, had one of our state representatives pass away?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And he was, what, 60? Something like that?
Yeah, he was, I don't know how old he was.
So, I mean, I suppose there's always the risk of accident or, you know, just, you know, you might not wake up the next day even at the age of, like, 25. But at the same time, the risks are higher the older you are.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think it should have anything to do with age so much as just, like, the people want to just blame people's age for their mindset. Which, I mean, there's definitely a pattern that can be correlated there. But I don't necessarily feel that, like, that is the express rule.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I can agree. I feel like we need some young blood, but, you know, whatever.
Zach says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president 2020.
Wasn't he born in Samoa?
No, he's American.
Oh, okay.
I know that he can run for president. I don't know exactly where he's from. I think he's...
Oh, yeah. I would support the shit out of a fucking Rocky Maivia platform.
Now I'm...
I mean, he can
curious.
talk. He can cut a fucking promo like a motherfucker. So, I mean... Oh, hey, Derek's in here. Hey, Derek.
Birthplace. Dwayne Johnson, birthplace. He was born in Hayward, California.
Okay.
So...
Because I know he's, like, pretty much celebrated as a huge, just... celebrity, fucking giant celebrity in Samoa.
Sure. So, either who, but I mean, the other thing that I would really like to make a point of real quick is that no, you might be thinking of Jason Momoa, Zach. Jason Momoa is born and raised in Hawaii. Kirk in the chat room says, if you are young and not liberal, you have no heart, and if you are old and not conservative, you have no brain, or something like that. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone likes to, you know, call people liberal cucks or special snowflakes or, you know, whatever you want to call whoever doesn't agree with you. And in reality, most of the time, we don't agree with each other. Most decisions outside of very specific circumstances and a few exceptions are normally made on the idea of, like, a 51 to 49 vote. It's always very close, like, and even then, a lot of those votes are strained, like, because it's not necessarily always a yes or no question.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. There's so many fucking shades of, not just gray, but different colors.
Yeah. It's
baffling.
Very purple.
Speaking of shades of gray, I realized something. I probably shouldn't have been doing it, but I had been on Friday driving around with my colorblind friend who is straight up can only see shades of gray.
Sure.
At nighttime.
Okay. What's your point?
Well, I'm super glad that he knows what certain shades are because, like, there are a bunch of different signs that are certain colors that are hard to see at nighttime.
Most of them
are designed specific colors so people can see them.
Yeah, I mean, but they normally have reflectors on them, right, to where you can still see the imagery?
I mean, theoretically, if he was wearing his contacts or glasses. I don't know if he was.
Very well.
I mean, I was really drunk, so my inhibitions and things were very low.
Sure. Were you easy, Nathan?
Dude, I don't have to be drunk to be easy.
Very well. There was another point I was going to make, but it's absolutely gone now, so I'm just going to move on.
4.
Birth control available without doctor visit in Colorado.
This was submitted by Relevant Life to our news. And it's actually relevant.
Yeah, so Colorado is going to be joining 2 other states that have passed this as well, which is Oregon and California, of which pharmacists will now be allowed to prescribe directly birth control to you. There's going to be a small questionnaire and get your blood pressure checked and do just a small consult with the pharmacist just to make sure, and they're going to be educated to make sure that they're checking for the right things, and if everything checks out, boom, birth control. You don't got to go through the process of going to a doctor, getting a doctor appointment or anything like that. Just, there you go. This does make me curious, though, how many other things fall into that, because I thought of this, and while I don't take birth control, I immediately thought of something that I do need and have, and that's an asthma inhaler, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized that I don't actually have, like, a family doctor or anything like that, and I don't know what you can and cannot get just straight up from a pharmacist. Because, like, every single time that I've, like, I need a new inhaler, whoever I'm talking to in terms of, like, a medical professional is just like, oh, here you go. Nobody cares about those. And so it's like, do I need to go see a doctor? Because I have my inhaler, but I also know that it's getting low-ish on the number of puffs that it has. Mm-hmm. And I would prefer not to go have to spend $300 on a doctor just so I can be prescribed an inhaler.
Yeah. I don't know. I would check it out first to see if you have to go in, because if you don't have to.
The other thing is like I don't even know how you like in case of this, and it gives no details on it. Like, do pharmacists just have offices or something? Like, or do I walk to the pharmacy at Fred Meyer's and go, hey, can I see your pharmacist and see if I can get, well, in this case, birth control? Like,
you want to get on birth control, you know?
I was talking about my asthma inhaler, but sure.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel like this is pretty great, because birth control should be a thing that people should be able to get over the counter.
It should. I agree.
I mean, if you can go out and buy contraceptives in the form of condoms.
Kirk points out that asthma inhalers are steroids, so they can't just hand those out. Sure, I guess.
Actually, that's an important point.
Yeah.
Technically, they are steroids.
Even though, like, anyone I've ever talked to is just like, take this every day, a puff every morning. And I'm like, why? It's like, it'll make your lungs stronger. And I'm like, yeah, but is it actually necessary? It's like, I thought these were called rescue inhalers. Like, when you're having a problem is when you take them. No, just take it every day.
Well, I mean, you need to be rescued every morning. You woke up.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Good Lord. I did not get enough sleep last night. So this morning and all through work today, I was just like,
I got plenty last night, but that doesn't stop me from being the other day.
Well, you're just always so.
Yeah.
3.
Chorus of
10 members of Congress rake FCC over the coals in official net neutrality comment.
This is submitted by Mavia to Our Technology.
So this is actually a right under 20-page document that these 10 members of Congress wrote and signed together. It is written in layman-friendly manner, so if you wanted to read this statement and basically read the platform that they are coming from, you are welcome to do so. But it's written in a way that you should be able to understand it, because it's not written in, crazy legalese crap. But either way, these were 10 of the officials that came out with the original rules that were placed on the FCC and the regulations on what the FCC can and cannot do. So they're kind of like the FCC has grown up into its own kid, but these are the parents going, stop being a jerk, punk. This isn't how I raised you.
You did not get this from watching me.
Yeah, pretty much. But basically, the important thing here is that Congress is now taking a little bit more of interest in the FCC's actions regarding net neutrality, in which they are now beginning, even if it's not all of them, parts of them are beginning to put pressure on the FCC to not be a bunch of jerks and just sellouts to the telecommunications companies. And as always, be aware of what net neutrality is and make sure that you understand what it means if it fails.
So, I mean, this is pretty cool. I like this.
Yeah.
No, I mean, people are actually doing something, which is, good.
We can hope.
I mean, at least it's a start. I mean, I guess it's not really a start. It's just adding more in. There was gofccyourself.com.
Yeah, to the millions and millions of comments saying don't do it. Mm-hmm. They're like, we can't trust those comments because people don't actually know what they want. It's like, well, if everyone says they want something, even if you think that they don't know what they want.
Wait, so people just don't know what they want? So is that? Can we use that as an argument for Trump?
Sure.
Yeah, we just didn't know what we wanted. Let's get him out here.
Well, and there's a lot of factors that led to Trump getting elected, but that's a conversation for another day.
2,
Salt Lake mayor goes undercover, stays in homeless shelter to get information about growing homelessness issues.
This is submitted by Tragic Donut to our uplifting news.
So the mayor of Salt Lake City, Utah, he just randomly decided to do this and kept it a total secret. He had to make a very painful decision in regards to that. And no matter what, there would be people on one side or another that'd be upset about it, because a state law mandated that they had to select a third site for a new homeless resource center. And no matter what, it'd make people angry. Like, if you choose to build it, it's going to make people angry. If you don't build it, it's going to make people angry, because it's just there's two sides to that fence of, helping people and spending money, or don't spend money and trying to fix problems that already exist. But after he made that choice, he left work on Friday. He didn't take any money with him, his ID, anything. He just walked over to Salt Lake City's emergency refuge center, essentially, the homeless shelter for emergency homeless shelter, and just spent the entire weekend there with nothing but sneakers, his shoes, and a hoodie. And just to get acquainted with what the problem was, because he didn't
even dirty them up first?
No, well, I mean, dude, sometimes, people, you don't have to be dirty to be homeless.
Sure.
Especially if you're newly homeless. Like, some people are like, I lost my house to, repo and all of this other stuff. I have nowhere to stay. But these are the clothes I was wearing when they kicked me out, so I guess I'll just go to the homeless shelter in this. And he was shocked at what he found, mostly because he didn't feel safe in the homeless shelter, but he felt safer not being in the homeless shelter. Like, he went and hung out with some homeless people that literally lived on the streets compared to the ones that stayed in the homeless shelter. And more often than not, he kept finding people in the homeless shelter that were basically using it as a drug haven. And because so many people were getting together in such a small place that were in either hard times in their lives or were on drugs or anything like that, they were often very violent.
I have that fucking song now stuck in my head, Hard Times. No, I can completely understand that. That doesn't mean we should defund these havens for these homeless. You should actually restructure them so that they're no longer purposed that way.
And that's what he intends to do. He's like, that is not how it should be. We should have a better system in place to help take care of these people and reintegrate them into the system. So he is completely working towards revamping the system, and says that it cannot happen fast enough because there are people in there that need help that are just coasting by on having the shelter, but it's not actually benefiting them in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel like this is probably a problem in a lot of places, not just there.
Probably, but I mean
it's probably up here too.
If one place sets the standard for it and finds a legitimate way to make positive progress, then it leaves a way for other people to follow suit.
Yeah, no, easily.
Is the feed still going for you? It's still going for me. I just had someone say that the feed is dead.
No, it's still going.
Kirk in the chat room says, wait a second. Okay, I'm waiting. I imagine he's typing right now.
Hell yeah, Derek. Fucking that Paramore song's been stuck in my head for decades. Oh, I heard a great mashup with it.
Oh, Hard Times finally not in your head anymore?
No, you just put it back in my head.
You're welcome.
Let me find this liked video, though, because I have to remember what it was mixed with. It was mixed with Treasure by Bruno Mars.
Sure, I don't think I've heard that song. Yes, Kirk, a politician went and got first-hand experience. Surprised, right? Instead of just sitting up in their little political offices in their, glass towers saying, I make decisions.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this hands-on kind of thing. I don't even care what political party is. I'm glad that he's out there trying.
Well, note that I didn't mention it either. Kirk says we need to get this guy up here. Well, if you can convince him to move from Utah up here and get elected up here, power to you.
We just got to convince him. Oh.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we just got to convince him that Anchorage is actually Zion and not Utah.
Zion?
Yeah, it's the Mormon thing.
Oh, sure, maybe. You don't even know he's Mormon, though.
Nah, he's living in Utah.
So?
Everyone in Utah.
Okay.
Everyone.
Japan calls for denuclearized world on 72nd anniversary of Hiroshima.
This was submitted by Jay Kirsch to Our World News.
So, yesterday, August 6th, was the 72nd anniversary of the dropping of the nuclear bomb on the city of Hiroshima. Back during World War II, Japan obviously is still not happy about those events, as no one should be. But with that said, they use it as a learning experience, not just for them, but for the world, of how devastating, destructive, and how just straight up vile nuclear weapons are, especially with the destruction they cause, not just when they initially go off, but the continued damage they cause from the radiation and everything that is left behind. Japan is calling on for basically nuclear weapons in the world to be banned. Now, interesting thing about that is that in a lot of ways they technically are. The United Nations already reached an agreement banning nuclear weapons as a whole. Now, that said, the 9 countries that have nuclear weapons in the world did not participate in that discussion, and they also abstained from the vote. Unsurprisingly so, and that includes the United States.
Oh.
Now, currently...
Well, I feel like it's in this awkward situation where it's like, well, if they're not going to get rid of our nuclear weapons, we're not going to. And until somebody steps forward and gets rid of their nuclear weapons, or at least hides them to the point where no one can find them.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the same time, though, like... I don't know if we'll ever actually hit a point where nobody has any, unfortunately.
I don't think so either. Just like after they've been made, it's not something that's just going to go away.
Well, you can deconstruct them and do it safely, but I think more of what it is that
people are going to continue to make them.
Yeah, and even if everyone that has them right now gets rid of them, other people will, like people that aren't on the agreeing side of things or have agendas, would just try to make them in secret. I mean, North Korea is trying to figure out how to make their own right now.
Yeah, no, and apparently it's going swimmingly for them. I don't actually know. Well, at least their missile that they're trying to build is going swimmingly.
I hope this article would tell me what the 9 nuclear-armed nations are. What nations have nukes?
Kirk says U.S., Russia, Pakistan, India, China, France, England. But he says he's forgetting the others.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
We just have to kill anyone who knows how to make them. Thank you, Kendall. We also have to delete all of the books and shit off the internet for it, too.
United States, Russia, United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and they're putting North Korea in here. The states that formerly possessed nuclear weapons are South Africa and the Soviet republics, which just are now Russia. So, a MOAB is significantly cheaper than a nuke. Also, MOABs have a very specific purpose compared to a nuke, which is just maximum devastation.
Yeah, no, it's huge.
It is actually not confirmed that Israel possesses nuclear weapons, but they did abstain from the discussion or the vote. But it has not actually been confirmed that they do have one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like we should hopefully try and get rid of all of them, but yeah, again, I don't feel like anyone's going to try and...
So realistically, it's just Russia and the United States. Because Russia currently has roughly 7,000 nuclear warheads. The United States sits with right around 6.8 thousand. The third place is France with 300.
Damn. That's still a lot, though.
It's still a lot, but 7,000, 6.8 thousand, and then 300.
No, yeah, definitely.
So, either way, I would like to see this achieved one day, but I don't actually have a lot of faith or belief that it will, but I can keep hoping, right? Maybe.
No, I can definitely hope. I hope everybody else can definitely hope.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Nathan, what'd you care about in the last 72 hours?
I played 10 hours of Depth over the weekend. That was a lot of fun. I recommend the game to everyone. It's no longer on sale anymore, unfortunately. But I had so much fun playing Depth.
Mm-hmm.
One of the scariest goddamn things.
What is the goal of the game exactly?
Okay, so it depends. If you're the diver, the goal of the game is to follow this little robot in Blood and Gold, the game mode Blood and Gold. You follow this robot named Steve around so that the robot can sit there and acquire. There's like checkpoints, and the robot sits there and acquires, gold or whatever off the checkpoints, and you have to follow around, pick up loose gold on the ground to get money to buy weapons.
Okay.
And you're trying to get that to the very end without having all your tickets get eaten up.
Okay.
The sharks are trying to eat all of the people or break Steve.
Who's Steve?
The robot.
Oh, okay.
It is significantly easier to eat everybody than to break Steve, because all 4 of the people who you're against as a shark can sit there and repair Steve.
Rude. Annoying. But, okay. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's a lot of
What did I care about in the last 24 hours? 72 hours. Pokemon Go is a lot of fun still. Been playing a ton
cared about Pickle Rick.
I have not actually watched any of the new season of Rick and Morty.
Damn shame.
Yeah. I'll probably watch it all, binge it when it is all done. Because that's how I do things.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, though, Pokemon Go's been a lot of fun recently because the legendary birds are all flying around right now, and that's pretty sick. Been doing real good in D&D. I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That movie is absolutely hilarious. If you have not seen it, you should go watch it.
I fucking told you would love it.
It was so funny. Oh my god.
It was like a D&D campaign.
It was great. It was simply excellent. Otherwise, I cared about sleep and how I'd like to hopefully get more of it tonight.
No, I can agree with that.
Otherwise, though,
I can agree with that, but with a different sentiment. I want food. I ran out of food this fucking weekend, and I have to wait until the 15th to get more.
do you want to come over?
No, I have stupid shit I have to do today.
Okay. It's like, because I have food. Jennifer, there's literally a pot of spaghetti right behind me waiting for me to go eat it, which is why we're going to get ready to get out of here so I can go eat.
Don't worry. I'll probably eat at Bryce's tonight.
Sick. All right. Everybody, that is it. That is the show. If you would like to help support this podcast, please go to patreon.com/dailyinternet. We would thank you immensely. Big shout out to the patrons we currently have. You are wonderful individuals.
Oh, that was another thing I really enjoyed. That little snippet that you sent me from the Reddit thread.
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to whoever, oh, darn it, Fake Garnet is on Reddit. Thank you to...
Hell yeah. Yeah, good job, Fake Dagger.
Because you're funny. Yeah, thank you to whoever that person is, whoever it is out there listening. Because there was an Ask Reddit thread, and it was like, what's your favorite podcast to listen to? And someone straight up said it was us and tagged me in it. So thank you to your face.
Yeah, he even mentioned us by name. I was like, how the fuck do you know our name? And then I realized, oh, wait, I'm kind of stupid.
Well, he knew my Reddit name. That's how I saw it, is he tagged me in the comment.
Oh, okay.
But that said, my Reddit name is literally just Schwahn, so...
Yeah, my Reddit name's not that, and I don't really want to say it out loud.
That's fine. I make sure that my Reddit activities are okay to be seen by the world.
I was thinking about making an entirely new Reddit, because I haven't posted enough for this for my account to really matter, and I don't really care for my username.
It's also Magic the Gathering themed.
Yeah, it's really bad.
You should change it.
I made it at the height of... See, what was popular then? Gangnam Style. That was popular then.
Is Bimmenstein available?
I don't know.
Wait, why didn't it work? Reddit. Let me see. God damn it. www.reddit. I like how Reddit is the very first thing that pops up if I type www into my freaking browser. That is apparently my most visited website. Note to me. Bimmenstein. There is not a Bimmenstein, sir.
Shh, guys, don't take it.
Go get it. Go get it right now.
I will, and then I'll have to start,
Being
subscribing to all the things that I like. Like, fucking our Eternal, our gifts, our not safe for work gifts.
Our Pokemon, and then what? You're done?
No, I mean there's our not safe for work feet.
Oh.
I mean, shit, I wasn't supposed to say that.
Is that a subreddit? Not safe for work feet?
What? No, it's not a subreddit.
I know you're being like all coy for the sake of a joke, but I'm legit.
It's definitely a subreddit. It's this goddamn jam.
Okay. Is it literally just pictures of feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a not safe for work way.
Like, is there like genitalia in the picture too, or is it just like real feet? They're giving you the seduction face.
It really depends.
Okay. Well, either way, with that said, we're going to get out of here. Everyone, if you would like to follow the show on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, it is all at iReaditCast. I'm at Schwahn Michael, and Nathan is at Bimmenstein. Otherwise, you can send us stories or feedback or whatever you want to say to us via email. Our inbox is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or you can call and leave the voicemail. Just shout it at us, 508-738-2278. That is it, everybody. That is your 328th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody.
Don't get bullied!
Have a good day, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Oh.